UFOs have made it into the mainstream news in recent years with increasingly serious coverage. But what about pop culture? The themes of aliens and UFOs were spotlighted in several Super Bowl ads this year. And in this show, I will go over some of the most interesting aspects of these ads and look at how it could affect public consciousness for some kind of UFO disclosure. I'm on a journey of discovery. I am seeking answers to some of the most challenging questions that face mankind and many nuggets of knowledge that could bring those answers or unsolved cases and tales of the strange and unexplained. This show focuses on recounting cases and stories of the unknown phenomena, mysterious events, weird places, and the unexpected. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on the commercials we're about to cover today. Before we get started, let me just throw up this QR code for all of my social media links, where I write my articles, my website, and so much more. And if no one's told you, happy Valentine's Day. So I'm going to share my screen here because we got some pretty cool stuff to cover. So just give me a moment. Let me pull this up because the Super Bowl, it just had some really unique aspects. So let's start off with this first one. And this one is from Squarespace. I just saw someone says no sound. Oh, well, this is awkward. Now we're just watching it with no sound. Why does this happen? This has happened before, and I don't. This is like so terrible. Okay, just give me a second. Let me fix this. One moment, please. Okay. Well, anyways, here's going to be the breakdown of these shows. We're going to be watching the ad, and then we're going to be pausing certain sections and walking through it, and then at the very end, we will talk about like the behind the scenes and the background of these ads. This one is the most prevalent one just because it is fully focused on UFOs, while the other ones just show little tidbits of it. So, let me try just another um Okay, actually, let me load it into StreamYard. This way we know it will work for sure. Just one moment, but this time I just won't be in screen, but that's okay. So let me pull this one up. Let it take its time to load. See, it was supposed to work, but it didn't. But this is live, baby, so we just gotta work with what we got. Okay, it's processing. Come on, buddy. Get it together. Thank you for being so patient. This I really do appreciate very much. We're almost there. Almost done processing. And as you can tell, Puck is dressed up for Valentine's Day. All right, here it is. Let's go ahead and play it.
The Earthling must be stopped. We must make immediate contact.
I told you to take Broadway. This always happens.
There's a lot to talk about in this particular one. But before we even dive into that, I want to throw in some fun facts at you because who doesn't love a good fun fact? Number one is there was at least 123 million people that tuned in to watch the Super Bowl. But according to Nelson's group, they believe that it must have been about 200 million people watching at least part of the game across all networks. And that's just for the United States. When it comes to worldwide, it is a bit more difficult to get pretty accurate stats, but even then, that is significant. Why? Because I had to look up. I'm like, okay, what's the population of the United States? Take a guess. Just take one guess. It's a little over 300 million. So we're looking at 2/3 of the population tuned into this game. That's a lot of eyeballs, number one. Number two, it's a lot of influence as well. And another little fun fact for you, maybe we'll play a little game after this, is it's for a 30-second ad, little spot in Super Bowl costs $7 million. Do you have that kind of dough? Not me, but that would be really nice if I did. And trust me, I would not be putting it in for an ad. But these companies that just make an immense amount of money, to them, it's pocket change. But this is significant and worth mentioning. Now, when it comes to this particular Super Bowl, It was the most watched broadcast since the 1969 moon landing. There you go. My fun little fact. So now I'm going to share my screen here so we can kind of just pause through the video so we can kind of walk through it. Okay. So this first bit, we're seeing a little boy watching a concept of aliens. And we can kind of assume here, it's not definite, but I think the audience can kind of guess that this is Martin Scorsese, who, as a child watching this, why? Because the glasses kind of give it away and the same screen near the very end of this episode or this commercial, excuse me. So then, as we get a little further in, we're seeing this flying saucer. Air Force uncovers model mystery ship. And the question that we need to ask here is, why did Squarespace create an entire commercial on UFOs? And this particular commercial actually had really fantastic background information from one of the CEOs of Squarespace when they go into detail onto why they created it compared to the other commercials that we will be covering shortly. But as we continue moving on with this, we're able to see a video of an older UFO, and we can see crop circles. Shockingly, I was very surprised to see the Nazca mummies that were presented at the Mexican hearing not too long ago, just a few months ago. I was really shocked to see that. And then we see the gimbal that was filmed in 2015. It was released in 2017, and then the Pentagon authenticated it back in April of 2020. So that was really significant. But as we continue onward with this, it's shown on TikTok on someone's phone, and it says proof of extraterrestrials. But this woman quickly scrolls to the next one of a cat, which has several million likes on there compared to this one that only has in the hundreds of thousands. And so this commercial is displaying here that everyone's connected online, no one's looking at the skies, and as I always say, keep your eyes on the skies. Here no one took our advice and they're all glued to their cell phones until the very end when we have Martin here that says, I told you to not take this road. This always happens." And then here are some saucers going on right there, and he's looking at it. But let's go back just a little bit to everyone receiving this I want to say download on their phone. I want to find just the right little spot to it where everyone's getting these hello, welcome to, okay, welcome down there. And if you take a closer look at this, let's see if I can find the right shot of it. Because what we're seeing here is an actual website. And not when I say actual, I tried looking it up and I couldn't find it. But you see on their phones, the clip is escaping me, but you see on their phones these three different tabs. One that says understand our history, bodily coverings, and there's another tab as well. And then it says at the very on like one of the side of the corners, it says created by Squarespace and created by extraterrestrials. You see those two little tidbits that you don't really catch if you're just watching this on television during the game, but watching it frame by frame, you do begin to see that. And it's something that I thought was a really nice attention to detail. Also, when we're looking at Japan, where they bring Japan into this, where they're having a company meeting, a business meeting, and on the presentation, it said the first quarter report. Here it is. It says here it's the first quarter report, and not because I'm learning Japanese, but it's so cool. You go to Google, you take a screenshot, and you say translate the writing, and it does it for you. And oh my god, it is absolute witchcraft. It is the coolest thing ever. Definitely try it on a language you don't know. So that's what it says there. And then you see these craft knocking on the window, and then you see the extraterrestrial getting frustrated. He's saying, "Why is no one realizing us? We're right here." But everyone is glued to their cell phones. Like, are we not significant? Are we not cool enough for you? That's kind of the vibe that they're probably getting from these humans here, these terrestrials. And so it's just one of those. It was the most prominent commercial at the Super Bowl. And so now I'd kind of like to share with you the background on this because it is truly worth mentioning. So, the Squarespace chief creative officer, David Lee, explains the inspiration for the ad that he mentioned on Variety.com, saying, "One of the most mind boggling things I've seen this year is that there have definitely been UAPs and UFO sightings, but for some odd reason, no one seems to be really talking about it. Except for us. We're the cool ones, okay? They've been trying to get our attention for decades now, but they haven't been able to legitimize themselves. So we figured, what better way to legitimize an alien race than to hit publish and put it out on a Squarespace website? And then we have Martin Scorsese, who does not do UFO stuff, all right? He creates movies like The Wolf on Wall Street, Goodfellas, The Killers of the Moonflower. And so these genres of movies are more mob type, more mob genre. I've never seen him cover anything regarding to UFOs. But once again, according to Variety.com, Martin said in a statement, "At my age, because he's about 81, it's a stretch finding a directorial debut. When Squarespace first reached out to me to create a spot, I thought this was my shot. Let's go big. Let's do something out of this world." Space guys building a website. I'm a New Yorker. We're busy, always on the move. Would we even notice extraterrestrials living among us? It's going to launch on this show called Super Bowl, supposed to be big. And I love this personality trait. I don't know anything about him. I've seen a few of his movies. I've never seen any of his interviews before. But I like this of just go big or go home. Why not? What do I have to lose? And in his case, being a director, that he's usually behind the camera, writing the scripts, looking everything over, but not being in front of the camera. And in some point in your life, you're like, you know what? I kind of want to go there. I kind of want to be on screen because why not? You know all the tips and tricks, you know all the good angles, you know how to memorize a basic script, right? He's like, let's do this. Let's do this. It's pretty interesting. But one of the biggest takeaways from this particular commercial is of that woman once again, where she's scrolling through TikTok and she just scrolls right over the gimbal video that is a legitimate video. And then she smiles at cats instead, which, look, I have a soft spot for cats as well. Okay, so does Puck. But it's not a serious topic like UFOs, like extraterrestrials, especially in today's age. Is this commercial soft disclosure? Is it just for fun entertainment because it's hitting pop culture, because it's cool, it's hip right now? Or is there another aspect to this? This one was created by Squarespace, but there are a few other commercials that were covered specifically by marketing agencies, advertising agencies. For instance, the Oreos commercial. And this one's pretty cool. It's only one snippet referring to UFOs, while the rest is not. But let's go ahead and cover that one. I'm going to take this off and let's play up the Oreo commercial. I don't like the next thing I want to say, but it's significant. A lot of people don't like the Kardashians. I don't care for them. I think it's a waste of time. But to have that back to back between UFOs and the Kardashians, and then even Troy, one of the most historical aspects in history, you are demonstrating in this commercial ancient history, modern history, pop culture type history, all in just less than 60 seconds. And so for the Kardashians to be put right next to UFOs goes to show that a lot of their fans are going to be watching that commercial because they want to see that woman. I don't even know what her name is. Mom. We're just going to call her Mom. And that's why it is really important. Now, what she says about, oh, try to keep up, it's irrelevant. But the aspect of UFOs where you see these policemen, you're able to tell because they have badges on their side hip. And they're saying, I don't know, just twist on it. Like, should we report this? And they're gobsmacked. They're saying, what's going on here? So I'm going to share my screen here so we can just kind of look at that scene once again with no audio in this case. Let's pull that one up. And what's really fascinating actually about Oreos is they've made another commercial about UFOs back in 2021. And I'm going to show it to you because it's relevant to today's conversation. So we have Troy, all right, and then here's the UFO aspect. I was trying to look for some nuggets in this. I didn't see any other than just their conversation of, should we report this? And they're like, and it goes away too fast for them to do anything. But can we ask? Can we ask here? What time period is this? Could this be, in a sense, a roundabout way, Project Blue Book? Why are they there? Right? There are so many questions here because the only information that we have, and we're able to just barely see it right here. And I wasn't able to catch the first word, but the second word says airport. But there's no airplanes nearby. They're in the middle of nowhere. It could easily be New Mexico, couldn't it? What do you think about this particular commercial? Where do you think they are? Who are they attempting to portray? I want to know in the comments. I want to know in the live chat because I was not able to find that information anywhere. And I was just scrolling through the internet trying to find as much background information as I possibly could. And funny enough, there isn't a lot. Also, what's even odder than that, otter, I love otters, they're super cute, but is that there's not a lot of articles on this. There aren't a lot of videos dissecting these. And I thought this is so significant. Why is not that many people talking about it? Now, if you go to Reddit and Twitter, this is where I found a few nuggets is from them. So if you are a contributor to Twitter or Reddit, much appreciated. That is super duper awesome, by the way. So let me just take this down. I'm going to share some information about Oreo in just a second. Let me just take that down. Like I said, yep. Okay. And then also right now we have 400 people watching this live, only 188 likes. If you're enjoying the show thus far, hit that like button right down below. It lets us know, us as in you and I, that you are enjoying the show. And it says, hey, to YouTube, we want more UFO transparency like this. We want more coverage like this. And it supports everything I do as well. So please hit that like button right down below. And also for Puck with his cute little big chocolate heart as well. So the next thing I'm going to show you is still referring to Oreo because back in 2021, they did a campaign called the Oreo offering. And 2021 was a pretty spectacular year referring to UFOs. And they were so quick to jump on the bandwagon because they were doing a very noticeable nod to extraterrestrials. Okay. And this initiative encouraged people to share Oreos as a welcoming gesture to ET, showcasing the brand's humorous take on the possibility of alien life. And the campaign featured limited edition Oreo packages that was timed with the government's release of findings on UAP. Also, you have the Oreo senior brand manager commented on the universal connection formed over Oreos of milk, preparing to greet any life forms out there. And something that I've said before, and I'll say it again, it's a little bit humorous, but at the same time, it's legitimate. Always pack snacks. The best way to make friends is to give them food, give them a snack. The best way to get to someone's heart is through their stomach. It's this very real saying. So I want to share this next one here of a commercial back in 2021. Here it is.
Hey man, look. It's glitching. Probably just some kids. They found it.
This is a really sick commercial. It really is. And someone pointed out, Corey killing it, another blue vehicle. Coincidence? I think not. And DJ, thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day. And Thomas, thank you so much as well. Thank you for always supporting the channel. I do really appreciate it. So here, what's very cool about this one, and it's not related to the Super Bowl, but it just goes to show that Oreo has had like they've dabbled in the concept of UFOs, and that's why we're covering it here. Is they're displaying crop circles, they're displaying UFOs, they're displaying uh, government officials, have them be policemen, have them be like Oreo security guards. Who knows what they were? I couldn't find too much information on that either, but they are people with some kind of authority. We see that 2 times in a row, but we're seeing these connections, these themes, and why repeat it? Why do it again? This particular commercial was created by the Martin Agency, and from what I was able to gather, they haven't covered any other commercials or advertising that reference UFOs or aliens. This one was their biggest commercial yet, because they featured it all over their website. But also, it's one that doesn't really match their theme. Now, I have more really cool information about Oreos because they are preparing some really sick stuff for 2024. And funny enough, these Oreos are actually already at the grocery store. I know because I saw them yesterday. But here, they're continuing on with the UFO theme because they have partnered with Space Perspective. And we've covered this on Strange News before. And what it is, it's practically a hot air balloon that will take you just right into space, just right there. And you're able to see the planet, the curvature, and all of that beautiful stuff. So if you sign up, you can go ahead and maybe win a spot. That link, for those that are interested, it's just called Lift Off with Oreo. Type that in and you have a chance to win. This is not sponsored. This is not an affiliate program. I'm just telling you, if you want to do it, you have the opportunity. So look at these Oreos here. It is called Space Dunk, and then you have a rocket ship on the Oreo, and then you have pink and blue cream. These are now available at the majority of grocery stores in the United States. As I had mentioned, I saw it yesterday at the grocery store, and I was like, that looks nasty. I didn't even read it. I just thought, those colors, that looks like flipping poison to me. So I turned away. But regular Oreos, the white cream, Oreos are great. Dip it in milk, dude. Just crumble it and have a cookies and cream ice cream. Heck yes. Okay, nothing beats that kind of stuff. But as you can see here, Oreo is still continuing on with the aspect of space. They are really jumping on the bandwagon. They're really seeing what's trending, what's hot, and they say, okay, this is what's going on. Let's continue our advertising with that. But is this just advertising? Is this just to make money? Or is there another layer to this? Those are the questions that we have to ask, because not everything is black and white. And when it comes to the UFO topic, a lot of it is not black and white. But right now, if you go to any store, any kind of clothing store or any merchandise type store, you're going to find alien merch. Why? Because for the majority of people, it's profitable. Now, those that actually join the topic and do the research, have you ever met a rich ufologist? The answer to that is a big fat no. But the aspect of like cute little aliens and doing the peace sign and looking super adorable, yeah, you can make $1 bajillion if you wanted to, if you know how to do it just right. But doing the research for it, nah, you're not going to find any rich ones there. But Oreo believes that any extraterrestrials would have a taste of Earth's #1 cookie and presents the Oreo offering. And as the government is set to release its findings in the Advanced Aerial Threats section of the Intelligence Authorization Act, those plots from Men in Black might not be so fictional. And this is coming directly from their website that was posted back in 2021. Maybe the Oreo offering can be the treat that connects everyone. Wonder if UFO dip, dunk, or twist? Question for you. Which one do you do when you eat Oreos? Do you dip it? Do you dunk it? Do you do the twisty thing? You just eat it. Just eat it full. I want to know in the comments. I want to know in the live chat as well. Yeah, peace. I feel you on that one. Chemicals in a cookie? Question mark? Yum. Not. Yeah. Yeah, it's not for everyone. But cookies and cream ice cream? Oh, yes. That stuff is good. I think I have one more image of a close-up of the Oreo. Let me just find that one. Here it is. Okay. Oh, it's like a nice little background too. So let me just show you. So next time you go to the store, play a little go hide and go seek or I spy and try to find this Oreo. You see the little rocket, you see the color scheme, which it looks pretty for kids, but for me, I think those are not natural colors. Therefore, I'm gonna have to pass on that one. Bit says twist and throw out the cream, crush into ice cream. Heck yes. Jay says twist. All right. Okay. Matt says gotta lick that Oreo in between the biscuit. Yes, a lot of people do that. That one is not so terrible. DJ says I'm addicted to cookies and cream ice cream and milkshakes. Yeah, those are pretty bomb. Also, strawberry milkshakes from Chick-fil-A. They're the best. They really are good. New, twist and shout, twist and shout. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that reference there. People are really commenting on cookies and cream ice cream. It's pretty good. But there is that image right there. So try to find it at your next grocery store. Before we continue, I do want to address something. I've gotten a lot of questions of like, Cristina, when are you getting the RV? I hear you. I'm still looking for them. But RV hunting has been harder than I expected. Also, it's been a lot more expensive than I anticipated with all of the modifications that I want to make. So if you want to see me make RV content, consider being a Patreon supporter. And what's the biggest highlight with Patreon is not just getting a really awesome extra content, but you also get free exclusive merch that I'm not selling to the public. You will not find it anywhere. I'll be giving it out to you. So you can find that link in the description box and also in that QR code as well that I shared at the beginning of the show, and then I will show at the end as well. So this next commercial we're going to get into is apartments.net. This one is also very specific, referring to extraterrestrials. Let's go ahead and play it. This one, we're able to actually see aliens depicted in this commercial. And then we also get to see one of the most famous actors when it comes to looking at aliens, and that's Jeff Goldblum. So let me just share this once again on screen so we're able just to pause through it. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, that YouTube link is in the description box below. I do highly recommend that you click it to be able to understand exactly what we're looking at. So here, this is a very cinematic commercial compared to a few other ones that we've seen so far. And just in general, referring to commercials, we see the cinematic lighting. We see a lot of extras. And then we see Jeff Goldblum coming in right next to a military sergeant. And here we're also able to see these two very unique looking extraterrestrials in the sense of we're not seeing grays, we're not seeing reptilians, we're not seeing humanoid type extraterrestrials. Here we're seeing ones that have 4 legs, little dinosaur arms, I don't know, like 6 pairs of eyes, these little tentacle squid like mouths, or are they actually mouths? I have no idea. And then these horns. This is something that I can guess. It was generated through AI and they worked with them and said, this one looks pretty freaky, looks pretty good. We'll grab attention. Let's go for this one. And I think it worked because you want to keep watching of what is going on here. And then we have Jeff, but in this commercial, he is known as Brad Bellflower, which is apparently his alter ego from what I read online. And he says, I know a renter when I see one. Do you want 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom? And then here you get this sense of humor from these ET in the sense of one is saying 2 bedroom and the next one is saying, let's get 1 because I don't want the mother or the mother-in-law to come and stay with us. So you have this aspect, this sense of most people when they get married, they do not like their parent-in-laws for the most part, right? And here they are alluding to that as well. But they could have done this with actual people. They could have done this maybe with animals, but they decided to go the extraterrestrial route. And the question is why? This agency that made the commercial is called RPA, which is a Los Angeles advertising and marketing agency. And also, when I looked into their commercials, they also didn't cover aliens in any of the ones that at least that I saw. So the question is, why now? Why portray that today versus a while ago? Sounds like there was no sound. I'm not playing it here because I know there wasn't any sound, but there should have been sound when I played it the first time around. So I can play it again. Not a big deal. Let's go ahead and watch it one more time. Orion says, I think it's all marketing tactics because UFOs and aliens are extremely trendy right now. They are very trendy. You are right there. But the thing is that we are seeing 5, 6 commercials that touch on UFOs, ET. Did they have this giant meeting together and they say, you know what, let's have commercials about this, and you know what, let's give a good chunk to aliens? Because I think there were either 32 or 40 commercials that were shown in total. And we have 6 that portray aliens. That's a good percentage when we're dealing with UFOs, especially if we're in the mentality that all of these commercials were done independently in the sense of no agency were talking to each other. Some of these commercials, I was not able to find an agency that created them, but the ones that I have, I will mention to you, and no agency repeats. I'll just say that there. I'm just going to leave that there in the corner for you to do with what you will. So that's the biggest takeaway from that one. This next one I'm going to show you is from Mountain Dew, and it's just one section that refers to ET, but it's one that catches your attention. Let's go ahead and play it.
It's me, America's sweetheart, and I just love having a blast. The Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Kids party? Having a blast. Stuck in an elevator? Having a blast. Winning. Losing. Having a... Probe me already. Blast. I can have a blast anytime, anywhere.
And with anyone?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. In stores everywhere.
I too am having a blast.
So here we have Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Recreation doing this commercial, referring to Mountain Dew, referring to Baja Blast, which apparently is Taco Bell's like soda favorite from what I read. But here, when at least when we are seeing the conversation of a UFO, she says, probe me already. Because there is a very deep connection between UFOs and probing, but there's also this level of unseriousness, this level of comedy when it comes to that as well. Is that what's being portrayed here of comedy because she's a comedian, which she's not. She has a very dry humor. She's known as a deadpan, I believe. I think that's the term that they use when people refer to her, and even in Parks and Rec. Is that the case here, or is there more to it? Is it more sinister? Can we ask that, but it's being covered up with comedy? Because the best way to relay the hard truth is through comedy. But is this true? People, experiencers, abductees will say yes. Your average person out there will make a joke about it. Will say, no, it's not true. Well, where do you stand on that? Serious question here. I'm not going to tell you one way or the other, but it's thought-provoking that in this particular commercial, when we see a UFO, it's probe me already. It's not ideal. It's a little spooky in some aspects. It could be seen as a sexual connotation as well, or something sinister, or just comical. But what do you think? When you watch that commercial for the first time, for the second time, however many times, what was your initial expression, your initial emotion when you came across that clip right there? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live chat. I do want to know your thoughts. They're not only valuable to me when you write these down, it's also valuable to anyone else that reads them as well. You do fill in the gaps with your knowledge and your opinions along with your insights. So what you have to say is very valuable. Let's see. Cindy says, comedy all the way. From Thought says, I think it's like disclosure already. Bit says adult humor. We're seeing another one from Comedy by Michael. Oh, let's see this one. Danger Mouse says, sounds like a Mickey take, TBH. I don't know anything about that one, but I'm interested. Robert says, this is a soft disclosure. I don't believe in coincidences. Raphael says, hello crazy. Yes. It is on the odd side for sure. Love and Let Live says, it's funny in my opinion, but it may make people laugh off the abduction theory. Yeah, I can see where you're going with that for sure. So with this one, I was not able to find out an agency that created it, and there was very little background information on this particular article compared to Squarespace and Oreo. This next one, I was actually able to find through Twitter. And I just want to say a big thank you to people that contribute to Twitter and to Reddit, just in general, covering these topics, because you catch things that most people do not. And let me find it. Here it is. It's for a TV show. Let's go ahead and play it.
You've got 15 seconds to tell us about your show.
Well, that's not enough time.
You just wasted 2 seconds.
So did you.
Okay, crime-solving, feel-good,
drama,
funny,
capers.
detective, aliens.
Aliens.
Oh, sorry, not aliens.
Murder.
So Help Me Todd premieres Thursday on CBS.
So that TV show was called So Help Me Todd on CBS, as you heard. But I had to look it up because I'd never actually heard of the TV show. And I had to say, I had to understand what was the show about. And there is no aspect to UFOs at all in that TV show. But the main character here, this is Todd, and he is saying aliens, like with just this level of excitement and shock, and maybe just to as like a shock factor going on there. And this woman is named Margaret in the TV show. This is the mother. And she says, aliens. There's no aliens. Like, oh yeah, sorry, there's no aliens. Murder. Right. So that's what you hear afterward. But here, is this a comedy factor? Is this trying to push the narrative in any conversation? When we're looking at aliens, ET, UFOs, because it's gotten so serious since 2017. And then just last year, back in July, during the UAP witness hearing, that's when people start taking this even more seriously than previously, even when we got the Go Fast, the gimbal, and the Tic Tac footage back in 2017 and 2018. And then the Pentagon back in April of 2020 said, no, this is legit. This is legit footage. I'm not saying it's alien, but I am saying it was taken by military cameras, and we can authenticate it in the aspect of we don't know what it is. And so here we see Todd say aliens with just this level of excitement. The question is, why? Is it just to grab your attention because they only had 15 seconds to do this commercial? It would be awesome. I think that's a really fantastic tactic to do, is throw out crazy words. I'll give you an example. When you are scrolling through social media or scrolling through an article and you don't read the whole thing, there's going to be very specific words that will immediately catch your attention. And you know these words. They're words that I am referring to. They could be negative terms. They could be positive ones. They could be something like a keyword that you are looking for in the article. For instance, if you are reading about an article of cats in Japan, right? And they only use the word cat once in that article, if you are skimming through it, you're going to find that word immediately and then start off from that sentence to get the story of what happened to that cat in Japan, for instance. Do you see what I'm going with here? So in this aspect, how I'm understanding it is he is using that same tactic of extreme interest, and then for you to listen to it and then maybe rewind onto what the commercial is actually about, because it's not that interesting. It's not. I'm like, I actually passed through this commercial until someone pointed it out on Reddit and they said, no, aliens was blurted out. And I said, what? Really? Look it back and I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Good eye, because I did not catch that one. Do you see what I'm saying? Hopefully that makes sense. Let Go says, don't even need to talk about aliens. Just use the name drop. And in this case, they did exactly that. Mike says, disclosure is coming. I hope so. I hope that's the case. But every year since 2017, people have been saying next year, disclosure is the year. Next year, disclosure is the year. Is 2024 the year finally? Or are we going to say that in 2025? It's a hard one to say. Moon at Noon says, and then he says, there are no aliens. Good catch, Moon. Yeah, that's interesting. P says, media influence and persuade popular opinions. They do. They do. And in many respects, that would be classified as soft disclosure. And Squarespace, I think, gives a decent example of that because when we revise that once again, you see a woman scrolling through past the Gimple video, but she's already used to it. She's already accustomed to the conversation. She looks up along with everyone else, and they're not screaming. They're not setting up fires. They're not looting the place. They're looking up in shock. But at the same time, it's not just like this shock of like, oh my gosh, we're all going to die. It's this shock of, dude, this is wild. This is crazy. This is really, really cool. Because of the movies starting from the 70s, 80s, 90s up until present day. Chris says, disclosure has already happened. Now the information needs to come out. Question is, who will release it? When will it come out? Will it be from the people or from the government? So this next one I'm going to share is actually just a screenshot of the Bud Light commercial. And this is at the very, very beginning that it's also really dark as well, but that most people missed. I missed it as well. I got to say a big thank you to Twitter on this one. But as you can see here, this person is about to grab a Bud Light from the refrigerator. And here you are able to see an alien sticker. When people create commercials, when you hire a team of interior designers for your commercials, for your TV shows, for your movies, every single detail counts. Every single item has a purpose there. It does. And don't tell me otherwise because, like, in this aspect, I know what I'm talking about. And so for them to place a hazard sticker and then an alien sticker, now what is the message to that? It's up to your interpretation. I do not have the answer, but the placement of the two is interesting because this refrigerator could have had family photos, it could have had magnets, it could have had a list of things to do or a meal plan, but they decided to place aliens, to place hazard, to place YOLO, which means you only live once, which no one says anymore. Okay, you even have a hand gesture for rock and roll, skating. You're able to get a personality sense from this scene. And then it continues on with Bud Light, with Post Malone and Peyton Manning and a genie that's making all of their wishes come true. There are no other references to UFOs in this commercial, but here we're able to catch just this screenshot of the refrigerator before he opens it, and then some random genie comes out. Which, seriously, it's random. Pedro says catastrophic disclosure. Okay. In which ways is it catastrophic? I do want to get a better understanding of what you mean by that. Please tell me in the comments and in the live chat as well. Yes, Moon, you're able to see a nuclear warning, able to see a UFO sticker, says Damaruma, Ramu. There we go. Dyslexia just hit it right there. Flipped all those words backwards. But yes, also that. That alien is crying, says Chris. And then we have Mark who puts in the alien emoji. Oh, Cassidy, bringing in one of the best episodes of The Twilight Zone, To Serve Man, right next to the episode of The Eye of the Beholder. Oh, love those two episodes. They're my favorite of all time. Let's see. Bit says Budweiser secretly delivers to aliens to keep the peace. Hey, you got to keep them sedated at this point. So those are just the 6 commercials that I caught and that a few others caught when it comes to portraying UFOs and aliens. Was there one that I missed? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live chat, as I do try to read all of the comments that you put up there. Now, I do want to just give you this before you head out with a soccer UFO sighting back in 1954. I'm going to share my screen here so we can just kind of cover this UFO case to finish off the show with just a little bit of extra value. So here it is, and let's provide that information. So on October 27th, 1954, during a football match, aka soccer, here in the United States, between Fiorentina and Pistonesi in Florence, Italy, there was an event that took place that left over 10,000 spectators in absolute awe because witnesses observed multiple glowing objects in the sky above the Stadio Artemi Franchi, described a variety of egg-shaped objects, also ones that were referred to as cigar-shaped UFOs. And the phenomenon was accompanied by the falling of silvery strands, referred to as angel hair. And one researcher that has looked greatly into angel hair is Preston Dennett. I do recommend that you look at his stuff as he goes into more detail on that, which was covered on rooftops, and then it just disintegrated within an hour. The material was analyzed by Professor Gionavi Canary at the University of Florence, revealing it contained elements like boron, silicon, calcium, magnesium, and was not radioactive. But speculations about the origin of the angel hair ranged from extraterrestrial activity to natural phenomenon. And a prominent theory proposed by, take a guess, by the U.S. Air Force pilot turned astronomer James McCann suggested that the spectacle, including the angel hair, was due to migrating spiders using their webs as sails to travel, capturing sunlight and creating visible effects. However, this speculation was contested due to the chemical composition of the collected material, which did not match that of spider silk. I would love to go to a sports game and to see more than just sports. In this case, to have a UFO sighting. And there were a handful of UFOs seen. Here's another image of a rendition of what people saw. You see 2 UFOs over a soccer game. And then you have 10,000 people looking up in the sky back in 1954. And they're saying, oh my goodness, stop the game. I don't care who makes a goal. I got to see what's going up in the sky, because this is before cell phones. And people kept their eyes on the skies because they took our advice even before we were even born. So this is something that I thought was really interesting to mention. And question is, could it happen again? Did it happen at this Super Bowl and no one caught it? Did they have invisibility cloaks and they were also watching the game because they were interested, like the other 200 million people that tuned into the game? Maybe they want to be entertained with sports as well, but they don't want to be seen. So they put a little invisibility cloak and they said, we're just going to enjoy this and not have people swarm us and want our autographs like celebrities do, right? Where they go in and to a public place with a little hat and sunglasses and a mask because they don't want to be disturbed. Maybe that's the same case here. But what do you think? Could this happen again, like in 1954 in Italy? Could this happen anywhere in the world? And if so, what sport would they want to look at? Soccer, football, tennis, golf, and the list goes on and on. Which one do you think they would actually want to watch? That is it for today. Tomorrow is going to be Mysteries with the History with Jimmy Church of Fade to Black Radio, and Friday will be Strange Weekly News. Those shows will be live. You do not want to miss them. So please make sure to hit that notification bell right down below so you will be notified when we go live for all of our shows. I'm going to place the QR code up here for all of my social media links, my website where I write my articles as well, my Patreon, and so much more. You can find it right on this QR code if you scan it with your phone, if you are watching this on a computer or a tablet or a laptop. But also my links are also in the description box below. Follow me on Twitter at eyes_on_the_skies for all of my updates and news, and also on Instagram at Strange Paradigms. There I post pictures and short videos. That is it for today. I will see you tomorrow. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies.